Hello and welcome back to another video from Off the Post. In today's episode I'll be discussing my Premier League team of the season. Now there's only one rule I have in this video, and that is I'm choosing one player per club, just because I want to give each single player from different teams their flowers, because I don't want to just choose every Liverpool player, every Arsenal player, etc, 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 you know what I mean? So I just want to be able to provide some good analysis on different players that some people might not pick for their certain teams. So yeah, before we get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and the recent support on our videos are absolutely incredible. I feel like I say this every single time, but I'm just loving doing all these videos at the moment, and I just really like, I've only started about a month ago now, I'm pretty sure. So all the videos are just fantastic, and just keep up with the support because it is amazing. So thank you once again. So let's get straight into the video, shall we? Okay, the first player I'm going to choose is my goalkeeper. And the player I'm going to choose is Sells from Nottingham Forest, because he has got the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season. He's got 13 clean sheets, and he's been the heartbeat of that Nottingham Forest side. Okay, I don't agree with some of the stuff that owner's done recently. If you've seen him recently go on the pitch and, absolutely slate Nuno, I don't understand why. Yes, don't get me wrong, their form has sort of dipped in recent weeks, and, they might not actually get into Champions League, but they definitely do deserve a Champions League spot this season, just how well they've played, and Sells has been one of the key aspects in that Nottingham Forest side. I don't think they'll be as high in the table without him. I remember him a few seasons ago for Newcastle when he wasn't the same player as he is now, and I feel like he is starting to find his form. And don't get me wrong, he's on the older side. I think he's like, what, 31, 32? So from that sort of sense, I feel like he'll probably have like, what, 2 or 3 more seasons in the Premier League, I'd say, and he's a fantastic goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest, so that is my goalkeeper choice. Moving over to the right back here, we've got Jed Spence for Tottenham. Now for me, when you talk about Jed Spence, I think he has been one of the shining lights in that Tottenham team this season, because he's had a horrible time since he signed for Tottenham. Of course, obviously he came through Middlesbrough in the Championship, and it was looking really good, but then as soon as he signed with Tottenham, it didn't really work out. He was making loads of mistakes. He went on loans a few times as well. I think 1 or 2 seasons he went to Girona, I'm pretty sure, in Italy, in Serie A. So he did look good there, and then this season he's came back and he's absolutely smashed it at Spurs this season. And he's been one of the better players in that disappointing Tottenham team this season, and hopefully he can build on this progress and sort of develop for future seasons as well. So that is my right back choice, Jed Spence. Moving over to my first centre back, we've got William Saliba from Arsenal, and that does take away my Arsenal pick, but when we talk about William Saliba, he is the key star player for Arsenal, isn't he, in that defence as well. He's got the pace, he's got the power, he's got the tackling. He can also make those late challenges in the box. He's got everything. William Saliba, he's got the strength to hold off the strikers in the Premier League. I really do think Arsenal have a world-class talent on their hands in William Saliba, and I feel like he can, potentially play for the likes of Real Madrid one day. His contract is up in 1 or 2 years, I'm pretty sure. So one thing we do know about Real Madrid is that they love to sign players on a free contract, so he might be the next one that they try and get over the line. My next centre-back is Van Dijk from Liverpool. Now, you've got to include a Liverpool player in there, Premier League champions, of course. And again, he has looked right at his best this season, hasn't he, Van Dijk? When you speak about Virgil van Dijk, the Dutch defender has been probably the best defender in the Premier League for the last 10 years now. Maybe longer, I don't know, just because, again, like William Saliba, he's got an all-round... He's an all-round player, isn't he, Van Dijk? He can do a little bit of everything. He's got the pace, power, strength to hold off the defenders. Nobody can run past him. I remember a stat a few seasons ago where not many strikers or forwards in the Premier League could actually run past Van Dijk. There was only like 1 or 2 players that did it, I'm pretty sure, in the end. But, I don't really know what the stat is this season, but it's got to be quite similar for them to win the Premier League. And that does take away my, Arsenal and Liverpool picks. But I don't think there's been much better than those two in the Premier League for those 2 teams. Maybe like a Mohamed Salah, you could say. Maybe there's an argument where like Bukayo Saka has been better than Saliba, but I feel like there's another player in the right mid position I want to choose later on in the video. So moving on to my last defender now, it is our left back position. It is Robinson for Fulham. Now, when we talk about Robinson for Fulham, right, this season, I think he has been the best left back in the league, okay? He's got 10 assists in the Premier League, and that is a joint 5th with the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, Bruno Fernandes, Morgan Rogers, and Heung-min Son as well. So when we talk about Robinson getting 10 Premier League assists this season from left-back position is fantastic. And now, don't get me wrong, right, I feel like he could get a big move in the summer just because, he's playing for Fulham now. Don't get me wrong, they're a decent side. They've done very good this season. But I feel like he could make the jump up to a bigger team, to a top 6 team. Obviously Liverpool are linked with Kirkes from Bournemouth, but maybe they go for Robinson instead. Would a team be better off with a Robinson in there? I'm not too sure. Who knows? But I feel like he might be off in the summer. Anthony Robinson. Right, so that is my goalkeeper and defence sorted. Moving over to my midfielders now, we're going to choose a CDM first, and that is Moises Caicedo from Chelsea. Because for me, when he signed for 100 million in the first season for Chelsea, I was thinking he might be a little bit overrated just because I didn't really see what he was doing in that Chelsea side. But I feel like now that he's developed under Enzo Maresca a little bit, I do think Caicedo is one of the best midfielders in Chelsea side, at least. He's got a good partnership with Enzo Fernandez now. They're building that good partnership. I just think once they have a little bit more experience around those sort of younger players in that Chelsea side, I feel like it would add well more balance to that Chelsea team, just because, when you look at some leadership in that Chelsea side, who do you look to? For me, there's not really anybody in that team that can sort of get you out of a hole in that sort of sense, except from like a Cole Palmer. I'm not too sure you look up to in that midfielder. I don't know. I don't know if Enzo Fernandez is that type of leadership player for me. I feel like you need another body in them, another, well-rounded, experienced pro to sort of, help Chelsea push on for a top 4 finish, or maybe challenge for the league in the next couple of seasons. But Moises Caicedo, again, he's sort of his composure on the ball, his tackling, his late challenges on those sort of defenders to sniff out the ball, sniff out the pass as well. Moises Caicedo has definitely been one of the best CDMs this season for me. Moving on to my first centre mid, it's going to be Youri Tielemans, just because he has got the most minutes out of any player in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. Youri Tielemans, he's got the most minutes for Aston Villa as well. So, Unai Emery has definitely put his whole of his trust into Youri Tielemans this season, and he probably has been Aston Villa's best player. He's, what he's done this season, right, has been incredible. He scored a goal recently, right, from a corner, beating, was it Fulham, I want to say? But he scored a header from a corner recently, and it was a goal where you probably wouldn't think he would score a corner, because he would score a header, because he's not very tall, that's not one area of his game you wouldn't expect him to do. But what I like about Youri Tielemans is his best asset for me is his sort of picking up the ball from deep and playing a through ball into one of the strikers or one of the wingers out wide, because there's been so many times this season where he's just put a through ball into Ollie Watkins and he sort of just ran onto the ball and just scored and got a goal from that. And then Youri Tielemans picked up the assists. He gets so many assists from doing that sort of same play. And there's been countless times where he's done it this season with Ollie Watkins. That goal against Nottingham Forest, that goal against Nottingham Forest, I can't really think of any of us at the moment. But Youri Tielemans, there was a lot of, I think I've said this before on the channel, but there was a lot of rumours about, do we need to find a replacement for Douglas Luiz? And I feel like a lot of people were overlooking Youri Tielemans in that midfield. Ever since we brought him on a free, he's just got better and better in that Aston Villa side. And I feel like I probably did overlook him myself, to be honest with you guys. And I can tell you now, I highly rate Youri Tielemans in that Aston Villa team. But now we're moving on to our next centre midfielder, and our final midfielder of the 3 is Eberechi Eze for Crystal Palace. When we talk about Eze this season, right, he has been absolutely outstanding. What he has done for that Crystal Palace team, he is their probably star man alongside Mateta and Ismail Shah as well in that front 3 for me. Because, getting Crystal Palace to an FA Cup final and also getting 7 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League, it is unbelievable. Because for me, Eze, he's a fantastic player. The way he just drives with the ball, it's so effortless. And, the way he scores free kicks, the way he scores, those goals from outside the box as well. He has sort of taken on the mantle from Michael Olise this season, because, you was thinking to yourself, Will he be the same player? Will he have that same connection? At Crystal Palace now, like Elise has left, and I feel like he's taken on that mantle so well. I think there'll be a lot of interest in him for next season. I don't know who will buy him next season because, you know, out of the top 6 teams, maybe Manchester City might take a gamble on him, but there's been loads of rumours with, you know, Fleury Wirtz and Morgan Gibbs-White, so I don't know if Abitreze will go to Man City. Maybe like a Liverpool, maybe, I don't think Tottenham will need him. Maybe an Arsenal, maybe, I don't know if they will buy me. I don't think that's a position that Arsenal really need. I don't really know where Abitreze will go. I feel like he can make the jump up to the next level, but I just don't know where it would be in the Premier League. That's the only problem with him. One thing as well, you don't want to see sort of like the James Maddison effect where, you know, he's playing for a mid-table team, he joins a top 6 team, and he sort of crashes out a little bit, and he has good form and then dips and it goes down. So I'm not too sure if I don't know what the best thing for Eze's career would be. Is it to start with Palace or test itself out at a top 6 side? I don't know who that would be either. So let me know in the comments your guys' thoughts who Abitreze could sign for in the summer. Moving over to the right winger, the first of the front 3. Now I've spoken about this guy a lot on my channel, and that is Bryan Mbeumo for Brentford. Okay, what this guy's done this season, he's got his highest goals in his career this season, I'm pretty sure, and that is 18 goals and 8 assists. And Mbeumo is unbelievable, okay? That Premier League duo he's got with Wizza is fantastic. Again, he's the key player for that Brentford side, and that's why they're going to finish 8th and 9th in the season. And, you know, that is a very good season. Thomas Frank, what he's done there ever since he's joined Brentford, it is incredible. And, you know, the way he can sort of just pick up a ball from deep, you know, drive at attackers, and score from either outside the box, cut inside and shoot and whatnot. He's got like a little bit of everything Bryan Mbeumo has. And, you know, there's been rumours for him to join like a big 6 side, rumours of like 60 million to like Manchester United. And I really do feel like he can make that step up to, you know, his next move in his career. I think Bryan Mbeumo, for me, is probably the 3rd best right winger in the Premier League at the moment, behind Mohamed Salah and Bukayo Saka. I can't really name a 3rd best right winger other than Mbeumo for me. Let me know in the comments if you have somebody else in there. Maybe I'm just forgetting somebody, but I don't think I am. Okay, moving over to my left winger. Okay, we're going for Anthony Semenyo for Bournemouth. Now, this guy has done a brilliant job for Bournemouth this season, and they wouldn't be where they are in the league without him. Okay, he's got 9 goals and 6 assists this season in the Premier League, and he's incredible as a player. You know, he's got very good skills. He's got such technical ability where he can pick up the ball, drive with it, you know, cross into the box, either shoot or score, get assists as well, obviously, with 6 assists. So he's one of their main threats in that Bournemouth side. And he's really, you know, come into his own this season. So I want to say, like, sort of had like a breakout season in the Premier League, Semenyo, and for me, he's been one of the best left wingers as well, probably top 3. And when we think about Semenyo, there has been a lot of rumours where he could probably leave to join a top 6 side as well. There's been rumours where he could join, you know, Arsenal. And for me, I feel like Arsenal are definitely lacking a left winger in the Premier League. So maybe if they do pick up Semenyo, I don't know how much he'd be worth. I reckon you could maybe get him for like, what, 30, 40 million? I feel like if you're spending more than 40 million, that might be a little bit overpriced, just because this is the only first season where he sort of scored those goals and assists properly, getting like high numbers in the Premier League. So I wouldn't spend any more than 40 million on him. But either way, fantastic season for Bournemouth. And, you know, that Bournemouth side that Ariola's sort of created has been outstanding this season. And I think he has been their best player consistently overall in the 38-game season. So for me, now we're going over to our last player, and that is a striker position. Again, I've spoken about this guy so many times on this channel, but he's been by far the best striker in the Premier League this season, and that is Alexander Isak. Okay, winning Newcastle the Carabao Cup, I've said it time and time again, okay, it is fantastic. Winning it the first time in like 70 years for Newcastle, you know, giving the Geordie fans something to cheer about this season is absolutely amazing. And, you know, getting 23 goals and 6 assists in the Premier League is so much to shout about right there. And Alexander Isak, you know, he's definitely earned himself that rumoured 150 million fee. for me, then again, saying that 150 million fee is definitely a little bit overpriced. I think he's probably a £100 million player, but you know the price in football these days is incredible. Honestly, it's too much, isn't it? But what can you say about Isak? You know, he's got a little bit of everything. His overall game is amazing. He's got the pace, he's got the height, he's got the power, he's got the finishing ability. He can dribble with the ball. He's got skill moves. He can play on the left as well. So he's very versatile in that sort of sense. And I think overall he has been the best striker in the Premier League this season. And I think, you know, Newcastle probably wouldn't have won the Carabao Cup without him either. I feel like I've said that about a few of these players now on this list. But, you know, here is my final list of the players on my team of the season in the Premier League, one per club. Let me know in the comments, you know, did you like my team? Would you change any of my players? Maybe write in the comments, you know, your starting 11, your Premier League team of the season, one per club. Let me know who you'd choose in there. And, you know, as always, like, comment, subscribe. It is very much appreciated. The support on our recent videos is absolutely incredible. I feel like I've said this loads of times, but I can't thank you guys enough. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.